Tesla investors might be in for a small relief as we get ready for a pullback from this bear run. So is this the right time to buy? Keep watching as I take you through recent news as well as my chart analysis and price prediction. But before we do that, subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for regular stock market updates. First up, the Shanghai Giga factory produced a total of 83,135 vehicles to be delivered in September, setting a record. Analysts, however, had projected 100,000 vehicles in September from this factory, but regardless, it marked an 8% growth from the last month. After this news came out, Morgan Stanley have lowered their price target drastically from $383 to $350. Next up, Tesla's Model Y is now the best-selling EV in Germany, defeating Volkswagen by over 2,700 sales. Some of these vehicles were produced in the Berlin factory while some were imported from Shanghai's plant, and the company will release a report today breaking down exactly how many vehicles were exported from Shanghai and how many were sold to the locals there. This indicates one thing for sure, that Tesla will take over the European market once the Berlin factory is completed and at its full potential. With all that in mind, let's analyze the charts. So as you guys can see right here, we're now in the one-day chart for Tesla, and right off the bat, I already told you guys that the stock would go down on Monday, and as you guys can see, it did. Now, some of you said that, the stock will go up after such a big selling spree, but, well, the results are in front of you. Right now, as you can see that today we are getting a gap down and a somewhat of a bullish rally, right? Now, I believe that we'll probably end the day in a really squeezed up candle. So it would be, kind of a small wick itself on the upside, small wick on the downside, and a really squeezed up candle, because now that could be both in green or in red. So I won't comment on that for now. I do believe that it would be in the green because we've already had such a big selling spree, right? Even Monday showed somewhat of an indecision. If we look over here, right, the wicks on the both, on both the ends were pretty big, yet the body was kind of small. It indicated that both buyers and sellers are confused, right? Investors are kind of confused and waiting on the sideline. So this was all trading momentum. But does this mean that, the bearish run is over? Well, not exactly. In my opinion, we'll probably get a green candle today, as I already told you. And after that, we might get another green candle on Wednesday. Then we'll probably continue going down until the earnings report comes out on 19th October. So this would be the real, day that you have to watch out for. I believe that we'll bottom around $210, $212 somewhere over here. So this would be what I'm looking for in terms of accumulation, right? But in general, anything under $20 is good for the Tesla stock. Of course, as we already discussed, the news was kind of negative, right? And the market in general is kind of negative as well today. But again, remember that Tesla, even though it might go down in the short term, in my opinion, the company will go up in the long term. If we look at the bigger picture, we can clearly see that over here, we've already touched somewhat of a bottom around $206.5. After that, of course, we kind of made a bullish trend from over here, right? We did squeeze into this range, broke out of it, got pretty good momentum. After that, of course, we hit this level over here, which threw the stock all the way over here from 315.45 to first a low of 280 somewhere, right? And then around 270. After that, around 260, and of course after that, now we're currently at a price of 221. So if I were to give you guys another prediction, apart from my previous analysis, I believe that the stock will now, as I already told you, get a good, few good days. After that, of course, we'll keep going down until the earnings report comes out. In my opinion, the earnings report will probably disappoint investors because, as we already discussed, right, the stock did not perform that well according to analysts in this quarter. But of course, as I already told you, after the earnings report comes out, we'll probably get a big red candles from somewhere over here to somewhere over here in the $205, $206 range, maybe, right? Around 210 maybe. And of course, after hitting this bottom, that is when the accumulation begins, right? In my opinion, the stock should be able to touch both a low of 210 or $205 over here around the earnings report. And of course, after that, the stock should be able to get as high as $240 by the end of 2022, in my opinion. On the other hand, Morgan Stanley did give a price target of $350. So do I agree with that? Well, if we talk about these next year's September, well, sure, I do agree with that. But if we talk about it looking at the current picture, I don't believe the stock can go that up in such a short period of time. But if we look at the volatility of the stock, of course, Elon Musk does a lot of things with his company. So, of course, it might just get some updates, it might get some upgrades. The Berlin Gigafactory might get completed. And after that, of course, the stock can definitely hit $300. Coming back to the live market, you can clearly see that the market is squeezing up. So, let's analyze the market in a bit more detail by getting into the 1 hour chart. Now, if we first try to reason out today's gap down, we can clearly see that on 10th of October, that was yesterday, we got a lot of selling pressure and in general, a lot of selling or rather bearish signals, right? So if we look over here first, of course, we did get, well, let me erase these drawings real quick. We did get a pin bar candle over here. We saw a reversal candle over here, after which we did go up to a level of 225. Of course, after that, we got another reversal pin bar candle, another pin bar candle, another pin bar candle. So these pin bar candles indicated that the stock is going down tomorrow, right? Or just in the next period. So that kind of worked out well. Of course, now we're getting a range bound candle somewhat, right? So this kind of is weird, I would say, considering that Tesla is a really volatile stock. I would have expected this candle, if it was a healthy day, to go up to at least travel a range of $6 or $7, but we haven't done that. As you guys can see, we've only traveled a range of $223 to $219, so that's only about $4. If we look at the larger picture, we can clearly see that we hit a bottom over here on 10th October at $218, right? So this probably would get repeated today. In my opinion, we might be able to break it as well. So if we look, well, let me get it over here. We might get a cup and handle pattern over here because we are already squeezing over here, right? So let me erase the drawings again real quick. And once we squeeze into this range, now as you guys can see, we did make lower highs over here, right? So of course, after this, we should probably hit these levels around 218, and we probably will fall below $220 today, but that might get reversed, of course, as I told you guys that the day might end off in a green candle. So when the stock goes below 220, that is when I believe we can see some accumulation. But of course, as you guys can see in the live market, we are already going up. And as I already told you, the stock, it's regaining its volatility, getting to $223.6. So again, our resistance stands somewhere around over here at 225.5, of course. And below that, somewhere around this level of 223.75. So once we beat 223.75, we'll probably glide in over here. But as I already told you in my analysis, or rather according to my analysis, this day would be good. The next day will be good as well. But after that, of course, we'll continue our selling spree until the earnings report comes out. So with that, I don't believe there's anything left to analyze in the 1 hour chart. Let's get into real detail in the 5-minute chart. Now, as you guys can see right here, we're in the 5-minute chart, and right off the bat, we can see that yesterday we got somewhat of a top over here at 226.46 that resisted the stock a lot of times over here, and over here as well. So below that, we made a double top over here at 224.75. Let me erase the drawings again, right? We can see that the trend was kind of squeezing into this range over here. So we did get a pretty much a stagnant top around here. And after that, of course, resistance levels around here at 224.75 and resistance at this level of 223.75 as well. But if we look at the main part, which is today's market, we can clearly see that, as I already told you, the stock is going back down. So that would probably go down below 220, right? As you guys can see, we got into a gap down. Of course, we did get somewhat of a volatile candle. After that recovery, we hit this resistance at 223.75. And of course, after that, we already made a good range over here. So once we break this range, we'll probably go below 220. So my guess for the stock, of course, as I already told you, it is kind of bullish on the short term. So if you want to play some intraday trades over here, you can buy it, in my opinion, of course, not financial advice, around the $220 range. So anything under $220 would be good for the Tesla stock. As you guys can see, we're recovering, right? Whenever it goes below 222, the stock gets some accumulation, and of course after that we go up. Now this range is kind of volatile, so I do believe that my analysis would prove true around the mid market. And after that, to get to the conclusion of this video, what is my view on the Tesla stock? Well, I am bullish on the stock most definitely, but that is in the long term. That is if I want to hold the stock for, let's say, 3 or 4 years. If I want to trade it intraday, of course, just look for the best opportunities. As you guys can see, we are breaking into this range. And now, of course, well, that was a pretty good rally. That was pretty unexpected. But as I already told you, Tesla stock, well, what did I just catch on camera? That was a pretty good rally, right? We did get resisted over here around the top. Now, this seems to be turning the day upside down, right? Analyzing live markets is kind of difficult because of this. But as you guys can see, we might even just get a big green candle itself and then get a pullback by the end of the day. Either way, as I already told you, we will get two green candles. One is today, one is tomorrow, and after that, we might continue the fall. But remember that this is definitely not financial advice, so you should always do your own research before you trade. And as always, you can subscribe to our channel Stocks 101 for more such videos. Like this video if you enjoyed my analysis. Hit the dislike button if you did not enjoy it. And as always, I will see you guys in the next one.